what are your self-care non-negotiables?
Oh, that's a great topic. You know, I think we all have to look at our mums and see, okay, what did she go through? What is she going through? Let me prevent those things from now.
Can we just talk about your love of spice and what took you into drinking chai and selling chai and just the whole chai revolution that you're kind of spearheading? Hello and welcome to Own Your Health with me, Katie Brindle. In today's episode, I've brought back in one of my dear friends and colleagues, Mira Manek, to talk about our self-care non-negotiables. Now, Mira is a brilliant Ayurvedic practitioner who has written several fantastic books. I have also included my book there because I've written my Yang Sheng book here. What we're drawing upon today is how these two ancient healing systems of Ayurveda and Yang Sheng can support us in the modern day Western world with some fantastic non-negotiable practices that we do. And in particular, in today's episode, we're going to be talking quite a lot about the incredible health benefits of castor oil. We've just now been talking about health span, lifespan, and obviously elongating health span and lifespan to a certain extent, but really wanting to match those two dates. So really what you want to do is be healthy your whole life long and then exit this planet in a state of transcendence and then lovely, and off you go to the next realm. So stripping that back to daily healthcare practices, the reason why I thought it'd be really interesting to get you in is what are your self-care non-negotiables?
Oh, that's a great topic.
I know, right? Right. Are we all sitting comfortable? I'm going to uncross and recross my legs. So what are they?
Well,
let's start with three.
You are the queen of self-care.
No, so are you.
The simplest and the most powerful one for me is good sleep, because I think when I don't have good sleep, everything goes out of whack. So just making sure I sleep well.
Well, how do you get good sleep? What's your tips?
I sleep well. I'm just saying that I don't like to miss out on sleep. So if I'm going to an event, I want to get back home and make sure I sleep, because I get tired. I can stay up, but I just need to make sure I have my goods, whether it's 7 to 8.5 hours sleep. I do like my sleep.
So you're not yet at an age where there's got to be a little ritual you do before bed to ensure that sleep?
Not entirely, but I do have rituals. And I'm not sure that, I don't think my sleep is dependent on them, but I do have rituals. So one of my rituals now is putting castor oil in my belly button. The other ritual is putting oil on my sort of joints and massaging my hands with oil, because we use our phones all the time. And I know that, you know, I think we all have to look at our mums and see, okay, what did she go through? What is she going through? Let me prevent those things from now, because your mom's health is not necessarily dictating, but it could be indicative of what you might go through. And so she's got, you know, slight arthritis in her joints. So I just make sure that I oil my joints, something she's doing now as well, but something I'm going to start doing for prevention now.
Which oil? Because I've had some amazing Indian-based massages over the years, and one of them was the most incredible one where she holds the rope above me and does the really long strokes using these incredibly strong pungent oils that turn my skin yellow and stink to high heaven, but I don't care. I just put on some rubbishy old outfit and then sort of slop home and sleep fantastically well. So let's talk about flavours of oils.
You can be
really,
really basic with your oil. So you can literally be like sesame oil, coconut oil, or an Ayurvedic oil. So I do have a nice Ayurvedic oil because I was gifted it, but if I didn't have that, I would literally use sesame oil or coconut oil.
Where would you get your Ayurvedic oils from?
I was given it by a brand called Karma Ayurveda, and it's beautiful. I mean, they have a store here, and it's really nice oil, so I do use that. I would say any body oil is okay, but I would just say, according to Ayurveda, it's sesame or coconut. So you can just be as simple as that. And most people say you should be as basic as that. So when I travel, for example, I'll take coconut oil with me, and I'll massage that. Obviously, look up which one might be better for you. There might be a seasonal thing, because there is a seasonal thing with coconut and sesame. There is also a dosha-based thing, but just
sesame in Chinese medicine would be more winter, and coconut's more summer.
Yes,
that's how we would describe it, because sesame is one of the key products for kidney nourishment, which is a wintertime activity. I don't know.
Yeah, so I think that is correct. I think that's it. It is a seasonal thing, but it's also dosha based as well. So I don't know which dosha and all of that, but if you look it up, you'll know. But I would just go with one of the two. Like, it's better to do it than to think, oh, I'm not sure which oil. Just better to oil your joints, because that's one way of nourishing the bones and the muscles. And also, without, like, when you go for a massage, you're like, oh, I didn't realize that my calf is aching. But actually, if you just massage it 2 minutes every night, you'll realize that you have aches and pains in certain areas, and so you're just helping those areas.
And the belly button?
The belly button is castor oil. So according to
explain that.
So there's in the belly button there is something called the Pituitary gland. Now, again, not proven by science, but that gland has a gazillion nerves, like thousands of nerves that go to different areas of the body. So you're nourishing your body by putting oil in the belly button. Obviously, people will say that, well, it'll get absorbed anyway because your belly button is obviously like sort of open in that sense, as opposed, it's like a skin. So it does get absorbed, number one. But number two, Indians believe, and according to Ayurveda, it does get, it works on nourishing your body. I've been doing it for, I'd say, 6 months to a year now, and I wouldn't say that I'm necessarily finding that that's different to anything else, but my digestion generally has improved, and it does help digestion as well. But I wouldn't say it's necessarily down to that, because I do so many things. I drink half a teaspoon of castor oil in warm water at night as well.
You drink it?
Yeah, a half a teaspoon, just very little. I mean, I think according to the things I've read, you should probably do about a whole teaspoon, but I don't want to do that much. So I just do half a teaspoon of castor oil, and you should put a bit of ginger powder just for inflammation. I don't always do that, but I do castor oil because I've always had digestion. My whole journey began with digestion issues. So obviously you work according to what issues you have. If you have a runny stomach and you generally have digestion issues the other way, then you shouldn't probably have castor oil. So do castor oil according to what your body type is and what your digestion is like.
Actually, that's super. So first of all, let me just go back a sec. Let's just talk castor oil for a minute, because obviously castor oil, to anyone who's familiar with my content, I've gone on and on about castor oil compacts ad nauseum for about the last 5 years. And recently, so when I did Housewives, I haven't had fake nails for so long, like literally over a decade. And then when I did Housewives, for some reason I thought, oh, I better get my nails done because, they look a bit of a mess. So I had them done. And even as she was doing them, I was thinking, oh, I really don't want to go through this, because eventually when you take them off, your nails go horribly papery. And so anyway, stopped doing Housewives, came off the show, and that was fine. And thought, right, don't want these nails anymore. It cost quite a lot of money. It's cost a lot of time. And I thought, rather than spending money on nails, I'm going to spend money on massage. So I'd much rather have a massage than a manicure. So that was the end of that. Any day. If you honor any simple choice, there's a simple swap. I see all these women having their nails done. I'm like, don't bother, go and have a massage. It's so much better. But anyway, I sort of picked them off. They came off. They have of course decimated my nails underneath, and they were paper thin and felt horrible. And I was kind of rummaging around my bathroom thinking, oh my God, this is agony. Castor oil, just rubbed castor oil into the nails, and it was just absolutely day and night in terms of how they felt. So it was just another example. Wow. Castor oil packing, castor oil compressing. I mean, they're just fantastic. You can put them on the kidneys, you can put them on the lower belly, you can put them on your head for hair growth. They're just fantastic. And
people do say massaging castor oil with another oil into your hair can really help. And not something I've done. I
haven't got hair extensions, and I don't lie about those either. I mean, because I've got genetically horrendous hair, but so I've had to be really careful about oil on my hair.
Yeah,
but castor oil in the belly button, I kind of knew about but hadn't actually done. So do you just literally just pour a little capful in and just lie down and let it absorb?
Yeah. I just lie down, and I think I just put it into my belly button, maybe like squeeze a little bit from my bottle out.
Yeah.
Or just you can just put it in.
Or something. Yeah.
And that's it. Like, I don't put loads in. There are people, I've seen people do it like a lot more, and then they put a tape over it. I don't do that.
Yeah.
But you can do that. It absorbs. Yeah. I mean, I it's not like I don't move around afterwards. I just make sure that I'm like lying down for 2-3 minutes after, just so that it doesn't necessarily just pour out. But I don't. It's an easy enough thing, and you can just start off with a little, and then once you're comfortable, do a bit more. It's meant to help all areas and digestion as well. So on different levels, it'll help you. And again, if you do so many things, like I also massage my face with a bit of oil at night before I go to sleep. So I do have rituals. What I'm saying is that my sleep isn't dependent on those rituals, I can sleep, but I just like to do these things before I go to sleep. And now they've become second nature. I almost forget to mention that they are there, because they have become second nature, which is so nice, because these rituals should become second nature. Otherwise you're like, oh, but I forget to do this, I forget to do this. But now they have become second nature. So I carry little bottles of everything with me when I travel, so that I can do it all when I'm away as well.
I had the funniest thing go on this summer. In fact, next summer you have to come with us, because it was me and Victoria and Chloe. We were together, and it was hilarious looking at what we'd all decided to take on holiday.
Oh, really?
In terms of where we all were. So next year you have to be there too. And we will literally, it was just hilarious. The supplements, just the amount of stuff that we've all bought into, because we know it works.
Because we know we're working towards a healthy old age.
Well, it does. It works, but also I think normally you find that people like us enter into this health arena because we had a health issue.
Yes, exactly.
Genetically, for me, there is no in a million years I'd be alive right now if it weren't for Western medicine. I mean, my mother would have died in childbirth. I had all sorts of issues as a child, which sort of were suppressed with antibiotics and all the usual stuff. And I would have died in childbirth. My daughter would have died in childbirth. And then I would have died in childbirth again. So there is no chance of me being alive right now. And yet here I am. So consequently, my health Jenga, as I like to refer to it. So I always think of health as a bit like Jenga. So you've got to imagine that game in front of you. What you want is as many bricks in as possible, because then it's a nice solid tower. And the older you get, if you're not careful with yourself, if you're not adopting the practices that we talk about or other ones, because there's lots of them, you're taking the bricks out bit by bit. And then eventually, as the old age creeps in, it starts to get wobblier and wobblier until eventually it cascades. So the trick is to keep it as strong as you possibly can with the things that we talk about. Okay, so
bolster it.
We've talked castor oil. What else? What about in the daytime? What are you up to what are you doing in the day to keep yourself so healthy and gorgeous? What are the non-negotiables?
Non-negotiable is actually working out for me and making sure my food is under, I have control over my food, because when I lose control, I put on weight very quickly and I can't handle it. And that makes me feel my worst, because it's not about necessarily the external, that's another thing, but it's how I feel. And so going to the gym, working out, not like sweaty HIIT workouts.
Your weights.
Yeah, I do weights and I do some good stretching and a bit of yoga at the end. But yeah, weights and bar. I love a good bar class, or even doing my own bar exercises. So it's a bit like, you're using your own body weights and repetitions to get a definition.
So you will do...
So my workouts have really changed, and I don't do heavy weights either. I don't want, I feel like in terms of working out, I'm now all about sort of longevity and body, as opposed to I need to really get this muscle. Yes, the muscle will come, but I just think I don't want to get any injury in the process. I want to make sure my body's not on overdrive. I don't want to be in fight or flight mode. Because I think things like HIIT workouts and all of that gets your stress higher, and I don't want that. So I'm just sort of really, and also I think I stress out about workouts that I don't like. So I want to make sure, I stress out all day about a workout that I might have to do, and then I've got to enjoy it.
Literally what we were just talking about in terms of castor oil and nighttime routines. Funny enough, you just touched on it. I forgot to say it, so I'm going to say it now. Is if something's going to stick, it's because of the pleasure signal. You've got to enjoy it. If you don't enjoy it, it's not going to happen. It just won't. So I add everything that I do for self-care goes on to what I call my gratitude list. So when I'm doing it, I'm grateful for it because I love it. So when I'm walking, so for me, one of my non-negotiables, oh my God, everyone watching me, they know exactly what I'm going to say. Katie and her steps. I mean, literally, I am just step bore now. I mean,
I did that in New York. I was like, 30,000? How did I do that?
I know. Oh, I'm obsessed. Everybody in my family, my daughter's like, oh God, she's going to go a step count again. And literally, if I get to sort of 6 o'clock and I haven't quite made it, I'm sort of fidgeting about and sort of grabbing the poor dog by the lead and going, right, come on, we're going out. He goes, oh God, do I have to? But, so step bore is one of the key things. But
such a good thing. And it's also fresh air, right? You get a lot of... And I've forgotten one very important ritual, which I've added in recent times, I'd say the last month, and it's really amazing. It's your black body gua sha.
Oh,
I use it. And for some reason, I put oil on my, in between, basically all the way down. And when I push against my rib cage, and open it up all the way down, I literally feel like a new opening.
Wow.
Or like a breath, I kind of inhale, but in a very sort of I'm sighing, and it's just such a nice opening. And I do that almost every day now. I literally just all the way down, I'm doing it for a couple of minutes with oil, and I just breathe in a very different way. And it's it's like sighing. It's like sighing out all your stress, or sighing out all it's like a bit of a meditation now.
Yeah,
love it. And you can't do that with the small gua sha.
No,
but your small gua sha I carry with me. They get jade on.
Thank you. Well, it's not. Honestly, Mira is so lovely plugging my brand.
No, but I do use it.
No,
I love it.
I mean, the thing is,
for a long time I didn't use that big one because I just wasn't sure about it, and now I use it all the time because you get into places you can't generally get into with a smaller gua sha.
Yeah, and I think what's interesting about the Hey You brand is that. And interesting, let's talk about your chai in a sec as well, is that, we both came into this as sort of brand owners, so to speak, and then sort of became we have so many different points in common, it's ridiculous. But for me, I wanted a sort of a tool-based solution. So for me, self-care is such an important aspect of looking after ourselves. That's one of my non-negotiables, is what I call tool time. So tool time is first thing in the morning and last thing at night, and obviously any time during the day as well. But you know, that moment in the bathroom first thing, that moment in the bathroom last thing, for me, that's when I wanted to be in people's lives, because it's that moment when you've just got a couple of minutes, and you do, because you brush your teeth, you know, you cleanse your face, you get in the shower, you wash your hair, you do whatever you're doing, but you're going to do something in the bathroom. Everybody, you know, even if you're just going to the loo, you know, you're going in there. So even if you're just washing your hands and that's all you've got time for that morning, and you shower that night, you know, you're using time very, very constructively at that moment. And if you have the right tool for the job, you can make a massive difference to how you feel. And the thing that I like about tools is once you've got one, you don't need to buy it again. As long as you've looked after it, it just sort of sits there. And you know, we met now several years ago, and yet things that I would have sent you at the time, still kicking around your bathroom, still in use. There's not
more in use now. I just feel like, and also tools are reminders. So for example, I might do my face massage with my hand, but I might forget. Whereas if I have a tool, I'll be like, oh yeah, it's a reminder to do those things. So it's like, okay, that's because you don't physically see that I have to massage my face, but you can physically see a gua sha tool which will remind you to do that. I mean, that's not the reason to use it, but I just think they're wonderful reminders because they lie there, and I'm like, oh yeah. And also it's deep breath. Like obviously we can all deep breathe, and we should all deep breathe, and we can do it without tools, but that gua sha really opens up. Like our backs are constantly like this, and especially mine, I feel like I'm a little bit taller. I do this a lot. I'm like over my laptop, on my phone, and actually opening up from the shoulders is one thing and getting a massage, but opening up from here is a whole other thing, and only the gua sha can make me do that. Do you know what I mean? Like you can't open up from here any other way.
No,
like, no, you can. You can just sit and you can get someone to massage you, or you can massage yourself, but you're not going to do that.
No, you're not. And also, you do one of the reasons why nothing quite does it the way gua sha does, unless, as you've just said, a therapist does it for you.
Yeah.
So yesterday, for example, I was with I'm going to plug her. She's amazing, Mariana from Touch to Inar. Thank you, God, for making Mariana. And like, thank you.
Okay, when I hear something less, I'm like, give me her number.
It's when you gave me Bhavisha's number when I met her with you, who now comes around once a week. She does, and people have seen her do this yin yoga.
Yeah.
Thank you, God. Anyway. So,
it's like we're in heaven.
So yeah, oh my God, Mariana was yesterday doing the most amazing treatment as always, and she was at this point she'd just finished sorting out my shoulder. I was like, oh, could I be any more happy? Anyway, so then I turned around, and then she was doing this ear massage, which was only the best of the best between our practitioners know this level of detail on how to send you into total bliss by massaging your ears. And I was lying there going, literally just leave me here forever. I have not right at this moment in time got a care in the world. It's just like lying there going, don't stop, like a purring cat. But the point is that when you then try and replicate it yourself, the main fundamental reason why tools are so beneficial for self-practice is your fingertip nerve endings get in the way, because the nerves on your fingertips are the fastest to reach the brain. Because if you think about life, you know, human beings are touching, and you know, if I've closed my eyes, I know what I'm doing. I know exactly what these things are, because the nerve endings are super fast. They're so fast that they're faster than anything else. And the interesting thing about the brain is it will only respond to one signal at a time. So there's only one that will go through. The first one to get there is the one that it responds to. So when you hold a tool, so let's say I've picked up this glass, my brain now knows my hand is holding this glass. So if I put my fingertips to my face, the thing that my brain recognizes is fingertips on face. It doesn't think that, pretend this glass was the tool for a second, face receiving something interesting, because this signal's now gone. The brain knows what this one is. It's gone, oh yeah, she's holding a glass. Yeah, that was like 10 seconds ago, Katie. Yeah, duh. Right. Whereas this one is fingertips. This one is face, cheek. So the reason why the tool works so well is that you're on the receiving end of the goodness, because otherwise it's your fingertips doing all the narrative. And that's why tools are so beneficial, which was really why all those years ago, when I was kind of knew all of this, well, I still know it, but you know, I knew it sort of to tell people for the first time that I wanted to create a tools-based system. Firstly, because I think it's economical, because all these years later, we've both got things that we were using 7-8 years ago still in use, so no problem there, but also because it brings the treatment into your bathroom, and therefore meaning you don't have to pay for someone else to do it. And or if you are lucky enough to be able to have a good therapist and you can see them, because we're lucky enough to be able to, we know the right people and we've got the time to go, you can do the tools as well, like brushing your teeth.
And they prevent or delay certain things. So if you're you generally get tight shoulders or you generally get tight calves by using gua sha or massaging certain areas. You're preventing those things from tightening up so quickly. You're like, and then you can go for your massage, but at least you won't be in so much pain.
Exactly.
When you go, and you're more aware, because actually, you know, massaging certain areas, using oils, using gua shas, you become aware of what's hurting. Because otherwise, you don't realize, oh, this is tight, or this is tight, or your hips are generally really tight. I mean, it's hard to get in with a gua sha into your hips, but you know what I mean.
I don't know, the Bianstone. The Bianstone and the tapper and the drummer, she says. Yeah. Be careful though, guys, just because obviously we're just talking as two, I know Mira's health, sort of, I know, you know, we hang out, so I know, like, I've seen you exercise and stuff, but always make sure that if you're starting to do anything other than gentle practices for yourself, that if you've got any issues that are already there, you must always talk to a GP, or always go super gently to start. Don't start whacking yourself really hard, because you can do yourself an injury. So let's talk one last thing then. So another self-care non-negotiable I would have thought would be obviously chai.
Yes, because, and spices.
Yes, you've literally made it your business. So can we talk about spices and chai? Because you, thank God for you, introduced me to chai all those years ago. I am chai obsessed. Literally every single person that comes to my house, if they're not given tea, they're given chai. I absolutely love it. So can we just talk about your love of spice and what took you into drinking chai and selling chai and just the whole chai revolution that you're kind of spearheading?
Yeah, it seems like there is a bit of a revolution going on
in
chai. So chai in the West has come to mean this delicious concoction of spices and sweet in a sort of milky brew, and chai latte. And actually its origins, even though spices and their origins are in India, the origins of tea are more recent. And even though chai means tea, it's come to mean something else in the West. So that's why when you think of chai, you think of these spices mixed with tea, mixed with milk, mixed with sugar, and it's just lovely concoction. For me, growing up, I saw my mum making, and my whole family, my grandmother, my father, everyone making this sort of gingery cup of chai and having it every morning. We would have it without the tea, so we'd call that ukara, which is basically just milk, spices, and sugar. So growing up, we'd have that on the weekends, especially with like a savory thing in the morning, like a puri or something. On the weekdays, we didn't have chai or the ukara. So it was like a treat we had on the weekends. And then as I got older, I started having the chai. And even when I went to university, it became like a ritual that I'd make my, on a stove, on a pot. And I think chai for me also represents that moment for me, that moment of solace, that moment of calm and a sort of ritual. And I think spices, only later I realized the health benefits of them, but spices obviously grew up drinking and eating. But there's so many, it warms you. Firstly, you feel that warmth, but it also calms you. And there's a reason for that. There's a benefit to each and every spice, and it calms your digestion. It also ignites your digestion. So it has so many benefits, but at the same time, it's just the ritual. I think first and foremost, it's that ritual that I've grown up with, but it's also a lovely ritual to sort of inspire or imbue in your life, and making it on a stove rather than just pouring it into a cup with a tea bag. You're brewing it all together, then pouring it out, and it's almost like you inhale those spices and then you drink it, and it's just a calming moment to yourself. And so that inspired me to create this chai mix, because I thought years ago, I was like, well, these cafes have they don't have sort of a mix of chai spices that they can put into their tea. And then obviously chai latte came about, but at that time there wasn't that many cafes doing it. And so that's when I started it. No, I think now there's a lot of chai lattes, but they're very, very sugary, and they're very, very different ones out there. So it's like there are so many brands, which is amazing, because obviously there is a bit of a chai revolution, and people have got so used to spices and so used to this idea of chai latte that they actually want higher spice levels, which is where my chai comes in. There's more spice in it. There's more sort of ginger and black pepper and more cardamom, as opposed to just a sugary cinnamony tea. So for me, it was all about that ritual. It was all about that sort of calm, that moment to sort of make it. I'd always carry my masala with me, my masala mix, my mom's masala mix. But obviously when I then years later started writing my book, I realized how recent this concoction of we call chai is in India. It's not actually that old, but spices is old, but the addition of tea came much later.
Really? When?
After the Chinese. The Chinese drank tea first. The British then got addicted to that tea, so they started importing it from China. that caused, they started importing it from China, but then swapping it for silver, which got too expensive. At some point, the British started growing opium in India and trading opium with tea. So they'd send the opium from India to China, and China would send tea to England. That's how addicted they were. And then the emperor...
And the British got the Chinese addicted to opium. That was kind of...
Yes, and then the emperor... That was what called the Opium Wars. So the Opium Wars were because the emperor put a ban on opium entering China, but they still smuggled it in because they were so addicted to tea. And that caused the Opium Wars. But at that time, the British, even though they won the Opium Wars, they decided they need another source for tea. So they sent this man called Robert Fortune, dressed in Chinese garb and who spoke Mandarin, looked Chinese, went to China to learn the trade of how to grow tea, took these saplings to India, only to realize that in Assam, which is the region where you can grow tea because of the climate, they were already growing tea, but they weren't actually using it to drink it. They were just cooking it into their curries. So the Assamese weren't drinking tea, nor was India drinking tea, according to all the history books I've read.
Wow.
So that's when they took it, and then they realized it was growing there, but they took those saplings to Darjeeling. And so even now, when you have Darjeeling tea, which is known as the champagne of teas worldwide, that is Chinese tea, whereas the Assamese tea is still Indian tea. So actually, and then they still were importing like 98%. That's when they employed loads of Indians from India and central India, and there was a lot of slavery and they were treated really badly, but they were still importing or exporting all that tea to England until the Great Depression, when they realized that we need to create another market for tea, and they started marketing tea to Indians, and that's when Indians started drinking tea because they almost were forced to. The chai came about later, the mixture, the concoction, the masala chai as we know it now, and then obviously the chai latte as we know it now as well, came much later. But the spices, which is, last time I came I brought the Ayurvedic chai.
Yes.
The original concoction of spices in hot water, that was drunk because that was in the Ayurveda, and that the Maharajas drank, the affluent drank, because spices were expensive. But it was medicinal, so it was taken as medicine, as a concoction that you do. You have to help your digestion, to help your body, to help you.
And that's how I take it. For me, chai, especially the ones that we've worked on together, are they are medicinal to my body. I find that the masala blend is just. It feels like peat in my body. It feels like fertilizer going in. It's like microbiotics kind of entering in my system at a quantity and dosage which is way higher than what one would normally use in a British kitchen. I mean, if I was just use so key ingredients, what I've got: black pepper, cardamom, cinnamon. What else we got? Cloves and. There's one other, I can't think what it is, can't remember. But anyway, let's go with those four. Ginger, thank you, sorry.
And pepper.
But and pepper. But the amount of quantity going into my system is much, much higher when you're drinking it in a chai, as opposed to just because my kids use cinnamon a lot in cooking. We're all obsessed with our air fryer in this house. So, in goes the apple, in goes the cinnamon on top. But it's a tiny amount in comparison. And the dosage is key to our bodies. So how do you feel
having this after?
Oh, God, I feel amazing. I mean, it is game-changing. So if anyone wants to know one of my self-care non-negotiables is, and I've literally hacked it straight from you because you introduced me to it, is to put it into your morning tea, or even I've now adopted, so my morning coffee, which I've served you,
I love it,
is now a morning potion. It's like there's so little coffee in it. It's basically mushroom powder, cacao and chai. And that I can, but that's what I was coughing up, was a little bit of the cardamom leaf. Yes.
And it's so nice to actually get whole cardamoms or whole things. They're not whole, sorry, like slithers of it.
And that's great.
Yeah, and you chew them. Yeah, and it's great to chew on. It's not bad for anything.
Yes, because you were saying that sort of that you have certain spices literally in your handbag that you would just sort of chew randomly through the day. And I was saying, well, your average, I just wouldn't do that. I mean, it's just, I've not been raised.
No, I agree. And I don't often do it, but I now need to do it every day because I do think that it's great for the teeth and it's great for your digestion. You're just chewing on like one cardamom or one piece of cinnamon or a little bit of clove. It just helps with everything. Like, clove has so many benefits, and they all have benefits. And they don't taste bad. So and they're just something to chew on. Sometimes in this day and age, you sometimes just want something in your mouth, and actually chewing gums are not that good.
Oh, they're so bad for you.
Microplastics and this and that. And I do like a chewing gum because I feel like sometimes I just need to chew something. So this is a great alternative because you're chewing something that actually is good for you, has no downside even to your teeth, I think, and you can swallow it.
Absolutely. Oh, it's so interesting. So there we go. So Mira with her self-care non-negotiables. Mine are tool time, taking chai at the same time, also making sure that as one goes through the aging process that we are, as hard as it is, taking time for reflection, spiritual practice, stretching, exercise, and taking joy in what we do. So weirdly, we didn't pre-discuss this. We also didn't pre-discuss we were both going to wear black either. We didn't get that memo either. We just rocked up, say, right, what we're going to talk about. But we've ended up in the same place as always. So Ayurveda and Yang Sheng, once again, going hand in hand into the sunset, where we end up saying basically the same thing. You need to breathe well, you need to stretch, you need to exercise correctly, you need to take joy in what you're doing, making sure that you're eating really good quality things and drawing upon any world heritage, to be honest. If there's, like cacao, for example, has come in from, Latin America, and you just think, just grab it. Yeah. The great thing about the modern age is you don't any longer have to exist in a certain place in order to take advantage of the wisdom. If the wisdom's there.
And once you start putting all these things in, the bad stuff falls away. You don't need to almost eradicate it. It's just you're replacing these good things. The bad things with the good things, not the bad things, but you know what I mean? The bad habits fall away because you're instilling better habits. So you don't have to think of it like something you're replacing. You have to just think of it as, let's fill my life with all these good things and the spices and all these healing things, because once you start doing them consistently, and again, take them in a bite size, don't overwhelm yourself, do it consistently, like a little bit of this and a little bit of that, you'll feel the benefits so much and they'll become second nature so much that you will then want to do more of it.
Yeah, totally agree. Mira, thank you. It's always, literally, I could talk to you for hours. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you.
So interesting. The only reason I'm wrapping up is because I'm busting for the loo. After all this cacao chai mix. But anyway, thank you for coming in.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
So Mira's just had to go because despite the fact we've had the most fascinating conversation, her parking was about to run out, so she had to hop it out of the studio. But just to say to everybody watching or listening is that all of the information we've been talking about today has been listed in the show notes underneath. There's too many things for us to stop the conversation to start listing where you find it. So pop down to the show notes and you'll find everything there. And if you can't, message in and we'll tell you.